Buckle up for a new episode of Bumpaholics, the one and only podcast made to teach on all stages of the arrival of a baby, before, during, and after. You're sure to learn from our experienced doulas when you listen to Bumpaholics. The following media content is intended to only be an educational reference guide and should not be taken as a substitute for medical advice. While KC Women's Ministry adheres to strict self-set guidelines, any advice, instructions, or information found within this media is not intended to be a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. KCWM makes every effort to broadcast correct information. We simply present the views based on evidence-based information. We welcome any comments, suggestions, or correction of errors. We are not sponsored by drug or device companies. By listening or viewing this podcast, you agree not to use this podcast as medical advice to treat any medical condition in either yourself or others, including but not limited to patients that you are treating. Consult your own physician for any medical issues that you may be having. This entire disclaimer also applies to any guests or contributors to the podcast. Under no circumstances shall KC Women's Ministry, any guests or contributors to the podcast, or any employees, associates, or affiliates of KC Women's Ministry be responsible for damages arising from the use of the podcast. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of Baby Love. I'm Brittany Brownell, certified birth and bereavement doula, certified birth photographer, education director, and volunteer with KC Women's Ministry, mother of 3, soon to be mother of 4.
And I'm Madison Hobbs. I am also a certified birth and bereavement doula. I'm a trained postpartum doula. I'm a baby wearing peer educator, and I'm also the doula director and a volunteer with KC Women's Ministry.
All right. So we actually get this question a lot. I see it all the time on Facebook. Mm-hmm. What do you do with your newborn, especially for new parents? It's just going to lay there. But my doctor says not to leave it on its back because the head thing. So what do I do with my newborn?
Yeah.
We got all kinds of things ready for you. So
yes, absolutely. Newborns are typically awake for between an hour to an hour and a half in between sleeping. Obviously that varies for each child and can vary from day to day, but there's still time periods throughout the day where they're fed, they're cleaned, they're rested, they're happy, and they're just awake. What do we do?
What do you do? I don't know.
They can't do anything. What do we do with it?
They can't move or do anything. I remember when my first was born, having that same thought. This baby's just laying here staring at me. What do I do with it?
Yes, exactly. When I first started nannying, he was, an infant. He was a newborn, and I was just like, what am I going to do for 12 hours a day? What are we doing? I don't know how to entertain him. He's so little.
Yeah, and truly, they don't need a lot of entertainment.
No.
One of the biggest things you can do is just talk to your newborn. Look at them face to face and have conversations. They're not going to talk back. Trust me. But
and if they do, please talk to your doctor. That could be hallucination.
Now, they will talk back a little bit with coos and oohs and ahs and wah, making facial expressions at you. This is a great foundation of communication skills that they're learning. When you say something and you pause and you wait for them to respond, that's teaching them a crucial communication skill of, oh, okay, I don't talk when this person's talking. I need to wait for my turn. Now, it's not going to be immediate. It's something that's going to build over time, but you're starting that process of teaching that to your baby. And you're just having fun. You're enjoying the time with your baby.
Yeah, and that'll kind of go throughout their infancy too, until they are able to start formulating words. A lot of times you can interact with them as if they're their gurgles and coos and whatever are words. Be like, oh, really? What, like talking, not necessarily at them, but with them, even if they're, 2 weeks old and not making any sense. But it really, that's how children learn language, communication, all of that good stuff. And it extends, past infancy. And I often get the question, well, how early does language building start? It starts from the moment they're born.
Mm-hmm. Yep, those synapses are starting to build. I do that even with the newborns that I work with in the hospital, doing photography for Bella Baby. So just talking to them and giving that interaction can not easily, but often calm them down too.
Mm-hmm.
They feel heard.
Yes.
Even though you don't know what they're saying, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And they can also see, even in, as a newborn, they can see that are, when you're talking, they're listening, but also when they're babbling, you're not talking, you're listening, you're not making sounds at the exact same time. And so even though they don't necessarily know what that means or know what you're saying, again, it kind of builds that listening aspect of communication. And they also recognize your voice from in the womb. They know you, they know your partner, they know anyone that you've been around throughout your pregnancy. And absolutely, like Brittany said, it can be a calming effect to just talk.
Mm-hmm. Just to have them hear your voice. And that leads us to, when you're talking to them, make eye contact with them. They may not be able to see you very well at this point. I mean, they got to be really close because their eyesight is abysmal, but
yeah.
And it is color, but it's very blurry and it's very light and dark oriented, but still make eye contact. You're going to see them make eye contact with you. So make eye contact with them.
Yeah. Yeah. And newborns, vision is about 6 to 8 inches. So not very far at all, but close enough that they can see your face. And again, this is where, talking to them comes into play, because now they're putting a face to the voice. They know this has been my comfort and now I can see them. And making that eye contact can help really build and strengthen that parental bond, as well as help them build those ocular motor skills, how to control their eyes. Because just like with any other muscle, they can't control necessarily the muscles in their eyes. So they're going to be looking at anything and everything they can because they don't have complete control over their eyes or their eyelids yet. And so the more eye contact you make, the stronger those muscles become, because you're actually exercising them by looking at your baby.
And it's fantastic. It's fun. It's so engaging for both the parent and the baby to have this conversation and excuse me, and talk and make eye contact. It's validating as a parent of, okay, I created this life form and now it has a personality.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we think about, adult interactions and how we feel when we make eye contact, especially thinking about eye contact with someone you're romantically involved with, or a family member that you love very deeply, or anyone that you have very strong feelings, very strong positive feelings for. When you make eye contact with them, it feels different than making eye contact with just anyone. And a lot of times you'll get those rush of hormones from making eye contact with your baby, that oxytocin, those happy love hormones. And it can help strengthen your bond. It can help improve your mood. It can, help increase your mood. And it can also help with your breastfeeding relationship, if that is your chosen feeding method, because again, you're increasing that bond, you're increasing those love hormones, which directly play into milk production as well.
And it's a fantastic way for dad to bond if you are breastfeeding and dad doesn't really have an opportunity to help with feeding at this point. So bonding in this way is great for dad. I always loved doing it with baby on my chest and giving baby essentially tummy time on my chest, or laying baby down on a play mat, getting down on their level, getting on my tummy if it was comfortable. It's not always comfortable after having a baby, but so I would get down with them and interact with the baby on the tummy time mat so that hopefully they're enjoying tummy time. I'm enjoying it. I really enjoy it when they're on my chest and I'm just talking and cooing to them and they're within that 6 inches so they can see me. I can see them. I look a little weird and distorted by it, but that's okay.
They'll learn.
They'll learn. Just a few minutes or even a few seconds of tummy time a day is all you need. A couple times a day is great.
Yeah.
Preferably while they're awake, not while they're asleep. You shouldn't put baby to sleep on their stomach. Especially if you're going to walk away.
Right. Exactly. Which even if they're awake, you shouldn't ever leave an infant who's not rolling yet alone on their tummy. But this is another question I get all the time. How early can we start tummy time? You can start tummy time as early as you want, as long as they're supervised.
Right after they're born.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's what they're getting whenever you're doing skin to skin or baby's laying on your chest. That is tummy time. And a lot of times I think that we don't necessarily see it as tummy time when it's on us. Because they're upright or they're being supported, they're being held. Tummy time is when they're laying on the floor on their stomach, and not necessarily. Anytime they are prone, they are face down, they are working those neck muscles, which is exactly what tummy time is supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. They're arching their back, they're lifting their head, they're turning their head, they're using those muscles in the back of their neck all through their entire back. They're even using the back leg muscles to hold themselves up. They're using their core to hold them in their position. They are getting so many good things just by being on your chest, on their tummy. Maybe the baby doesn't tolerate being on the floor on their tummy. That's okay. Stick them on your chest. Put them in a baby wearing carrier and walk around with them on your chest. They're going to get that workout just like a baby on their tummy will on the floor.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, even from the day that they're born, if they tolerate laying on a mat, absolutely do tummy time on the floor. It's never too early as long as they're supervised. Because again, they're already getting a lot of that. You don't have to wait until, we're at, the 6-week mark and now they can start doing tummy time. They're good to start whenever.
Yeah, good to go whenever you're ready. You can make tummy time fun or just play mat time fun by putting a mirror around the baby, seeing if they see themselves, or you go to the bathroom and you guys stand in front of a mirror and make faces in the mirror together. Baby's gonna be like, what's happening? And then they'll be like, oh, something fun is happening. And they'll play back with you. Play mirror games. The crappy mirrors that come with the tummy time mats, just throw that thing away. It's stupid. But get one of those.
I agree.
Mirrors. Yeah. It's awful. You can't see anything in it. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah, they're either foggy or they're distorted, and baby's vision's already not very good. So I can't imagine what they're seeing in the mirror. It's really just not helpful.
It's probably like one of those circus mirror things that you go in. Yeah, and it's all wavy and everything.
Yeah, that's exactly what I imagine. Like they're looking,
and you're like, whoa, I'm really dizzy now.
There's no way that's me. Is that me?
Right. Go in front of a real mirror. Use a real mirror. Use a compact mirror, like a makeup one, or some people have those handheld ones that you get at the dollar store, and it's got the mirror in a circle, oval, or trapezoid or something on the stick. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the handheld mirror. Yes.
Yeah, the handheld mirror. And you just kind of look in that and hold that in front of baby and play with baby. Play with the light with the mirror. Babies love light because they can see the light and dark. So go in front of a door or a window where you have light coming in and have that light reflect. Just like a cat would with a flashlight, the baby's going to watch it. And be like, whoa, whoa. And they might even start to try and reach for it. It's really fun. You should try it.
Yes, absolutely. And again, just like with eye contact, we're working those eye muscles whenever they're tracking something. your hands or a light or their own face in a mirror. Anytime we're giving visual stimuli, they're working those muscles and increasing, improving their vision.
Yeah, improving vision and motor skills. You can try puppet play. They're a little young for puppets right now. I wouldn't really do puppets until they're probably sitting on their own, but you can give that one a try. I've got it on the list here, but a baby massage. So you're probably going, why on earth would I massage my baby? They're already loose and relaxed. Yeah, they're pretty floppy already, but it's building bonding time. I loved just rubbing my hands along my baby's arms and shoulders and back. Whether you have lotion or oils that you're rubbing in, it doesn't matter. But sitting in the bathtub with my baby on my knees and just rubbing them down was great. They loved it. I loved it. I got to sit in my bathtub for a little while and soak while my baby got to sit with me, and I could put them outside of the bathtub or I could have them on my legs. But when you're done, you can lay them on their tummy. They're getting tummy time while you massage them. And they're learning that tummy time is a good place. Ooh, I like this.
Yeah.
They have growing pains too. And you may not realize that they're crying because they have a growing pain. Maybe the massage helps massage that growing pain out a little bit. You can massage their tummy and maybe they're a little colicky or they have a lot of gas. That tummy massage, always go from right to left on their tummy so that you're following the bowels. But that little tummy massage can help move the gas or move any constipation that they have. You can add a few essential oils in a carrier oil. Be very cautious with that though. Babies are very susceptible and they can be very sensitive to them. So do a really small spot first and make sure you have a carrier oil and don't use too much at once. But anyway, that's not part of this video. So put a little bit in there and massage it into their tummy and then just keep going around their body. Just like you would for if you have any swelling, go down the legs, into the toes, the feet and toes, and then back up through the feet and toes, or well, it'd be going toes to feet, and then back up the legs. So you're moving with the body, moving with the blood flow, moving with any liquids in the body.
All the lymph nodes, we're getting
that's what I was looking for.
The lymphatic fluid, we're getting that to move. And so you always want to go away from the heart first and then come back.
Yep.
And any kind of physical contact, this is why skin to skin is so great. But any kind of skin stimuli, specifically skin to skin. So your hands on baby is going to help continue building those synapses in baby's brain of positive touch and also, strengthening those nerve endings and setting them up to have potentially a lower pain tolerance in the future because they've had so much positive stimuli when they were young. Absolutely.
And it's building that bonding again. Mom doesn't have to be the only one who does this. Dad can do this too. And again, you're building that bonding. So both of you can take turns. You can do it at the same time. Not a big deal. Make eye contact as you do it. Talk baby through what you're doing, where you're touching, talk about the body parts. Now you're adding language learning into this and baby's learning about their body. They're not going to be able to repeat it anytime soon, but you're starting to build that language identification when you're speaking to them and you're starting to build that base for them to speak back to you. You never know. Your baby might start speaking at 1 instead of at 3 because you talk to them as a baby.
The more you do it, the more you talk to your baby, the more habit it'll become. So, if we're in the mindset of, I don't really need to be talking to my baby because they don't understand, they can't respond, all of this good stuff, you're less likely to talk to them later when they can understand. They also haven't been getting all of this language and information. They may not understand it, but they're still absorbing it. Every single time you say a specific word, they're getting exposure to it and their brain is recognizing the sounds. Which is why a lot of times those most familiar sounds are what they're going to be babbling first. Not only are they easy for the muscles, but it's also what they're hearing most. Mama, dada, all that easy language that they hear a lot. Ball. I can't think of any others, but and the earlier you start, you're not going to end up at 3 or 6 months and go, oh man, I don't really talk to them a whole lot. I didn't think they could understand me, and yet I'm seeing their peers who are starting to babble, and now they're 6 to 8 months and they already have 1 or 2 words. My baby hasn't even started babbling coherently yet. So the earlier you start, the not necessarily the sooner that they're going to be talking, but the better set up they'll be for communication in the future, while getting yourself into that habit of communicating with them.
Mm-hmm. And truly, it makes it easier to identify any delays that they're having. I was a daycare provider, so, I talk all day long. I'm a talker. So I would talk to the kids all day long. And, as a single parent or an individual parent, not necessarily single, but as a parent of, a family unit rather than a parent in a situation where you've got multiple children that you can kind of compare your kid to, you're still going to be able to identify any delays by seeing the interactions of parents when you go pick your kid up from the school, or you go see how your kids are interacting at the park or at a grocery store. Watch other parents and their babies and see what's going on between them. You can really gauge where your child's at, and then check in with your pediatrician. They're going to be able to say, well, has your baby been saying some words? Has your baby been making these sounds? And if you haven't heard these things, you might have a delay. It doesn't necessarily mean there is a delay. Some kids, honestly, they don't really start talking for a couple years. And then when they do start talking, it's blah, 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 blah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's everything.
Yeah. Happened recently to me.
Yeah.
The little guy that I watch, we were wondering why he didn't have very many words, and then all of a sudden, just one day, he was speaking in full sentences. We're like, what just happened? Where did that come from?
It's like they just have to soak it in and process it, and then all of a sudden, it just regurgitates.
Yes, exactly. Here it is.
Yeah, here I am, world. Welcome me. One of my absolute favorite things to do is to dance with baby. Pick baby up, move around, hold their head because they're a newborn, but
they're a little floppy.
Yeah, they're a little floppy. You don't want to go forward and then have their head flop back. That can break their neck.
Don't let the head shake.
No. But dance with baby. I love going in circles and dancing. Do it outside in the sun. Do it in the house. Do it on a walk. Just all of a sudden make a twirl.
Yeah.
You are now helping build brain balance and balancing skills up and down and left and right. You can talk what directions you're going if you're on a walk. But I mean, with dancing, you don't really talk much, but you can sing and dance at the same time. And that's always fun. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And this is something I talk about in my baby wearing class, is that the vestibular nervous system, which is basically the fluid in your inner ear, which is what helps us with balance. Like Brittany said, it helps develop that balance. The more that fluid moves, the stronger that system becomes. Mm-hmm. The more spatial awareness they have, the better they're prepared for sitting up, for crawling, for walking, because they know what every direction feels like. Spinning, yes. Uh-huh. They know what every direction feels like. And this is also,
it's less scary for them too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do it on their own.
Another reason why holding your baby, especially if you're walking, is not going to be detrimental by any means. A lot of times I think there's a concern that I don't want to hold my baby too much, but actually holding your baby has a lot of benefits, and one of which is if you're moving, whether you're dancing, walking, just swaying even, they're getting those benefits in that vestibular nervous system. And
they're not lying flat with their head getting flat.
Exactly. we're avoiding plagiocephaly. So
Yes, absolutely. Look at you spitting out those big old words. I love it.
thanks. It's part of my class.
So something that can help give you a little more activity, take your baby for a walk. Don't put them in a stroller. Wear them, hold them, have them upright and with you. Talk to them. Oh, look at the tree over here. Look how green these leaves are. Oh, look at that. I see a rock. It's gray. It's kind of bumpy. And, talk about textures. Oh, let's pick up this rock. Ooh, do you feel this, baby? It's really smooth. And this one's really bumpy. And, you're getting that textile, you're getting vocal, you got a lot of input happening. It can be a little overwhelming and overstimulating for baby. So when you get home, keep things a little calm, relax baby, feed baby, change their diaper, put them down for a nap, do a soft, gentle rock, lower that stimulation back down slowly so they can go to sleep. But it's fun. And it gives you an activity that's fun and engaging and that gets you moving. You're not going to lose that postpartum belly unless you move a little bit.
Yes. With, obviously know your own restrictions and,
especially a 3-mile walk right away.
No, just, around the block or even around the house, just literally like outside.
Go down the driveway and come right back.
Exactly. We don't have to be taking mile-long hikes, if that's something that you're, that you enjoy, and your body can handle, definitely do that. Take your baby with you, go up into the woods and the mountains, whatever,
Don't overdo it.
And don't overdo it. Again, listen to your body if that's something you can handle. But again, movement is beneficial for your healing after baby. Again, listening to your body and making sure you don't overdo it. And it's beneficial for, like Brittany said, the postpartum weight loss, if that's something that you're working towards
and
as well.
Fresh air makes a big difference for moms mentally and emotionally. Feeling like you're cooped up in the house can be a little detrimental to a lot of people. So going out and getting some sunshine, get that vitamin D and get some fresh air, enjoy the time with baby. Just sit on your stoop. You don't necessarily have to walk to get fresh air. Go sit on your back porch. If you have a nice table back there, hang out. Talk to your baby. Tell the baby what you see. I look up like I have a tree above me, but I'm imagining sitting on my patio right now where it's nice and warm.
And if you have a baby in the winter time, that can be really hard too, because you can't necessarily always get outside. But if it's right around 30, 35 degrees, 5 minutes right around the driveway, bundle up and go real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You can also the window. Yes, absolutely. Even just cracking a window, maybe a second or two, just to get that fresh air, even if it's too cold to leave open for very long, just get some fresh air. Or you can also always go somewhere if that's something that you're comfortable with. I know a lot of times people, when babies are very new, aren't ready to leave the house, and that's totally okay. But if that's something that you're comfortable with, you can go to Target and walk around Target, and try not to buy anything, which is really hard, but you can attempt it. Or, go somewhere where you can walk inside if it's too cold and you're comfortable doing so. Go to the mall. We're still in a pandemic right now, so that advice, take that with a grain of salt. Again, if you're comfortable doing it and going to a place that you're comfortable going, that's an option too. If you're like, I really need to get out of the house, but I can't go for a walk because it's -5 out. So those are options too.
Mm-hmm. So most important things to do with your baby: snuggle, hold your baby, love on your baby. Just show them that you love them and be present with them. Just be there.
Be there.
That's all they need. Change their diaper, feed them, and love on them. That's it. You don't have to do all the fancy things. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to dance with them. You don't have to take a walk. They're enjoyable and they're going to make the time go easier. But you don't have to do all of that. Just hold your baby. Just snuggle them. That's it.
And your baby's development most importantly, comes from your bond as a caregiver to your baby. that is where the most development happens. It's not happening from these fancy toys. It's not happening from the gadgets and gadgets. And yeah, they're great, they're fun, but your baby is developing from you.
Yep.
And as long as you are there, you don't need the rest of it.
Nope. You don't need a bunch of toys. You don't need a fancy swing. You don't need all the fancy things. All your baby needs is you. That's it. It's all your baby needs. Maybe some diapers.
I mean, you know,
They
there
don't need
are
it.
some essentials, but as far as entertainment goes,
Yeah. I mean, they don't really need a diaper. You can always do elimination education, but
you could. It's not for everyone, though.
no. But
Intimidating.
anyway, all they need is you. All they need is that love from you. That's it. That love and that care. You show them that you love them through the way that you care for them and through the way that you spend time with them. So, and that goes for infant, toddler, child, teenager, adult. That goes all through the ranges. Just be
All
present.
they need is you. All they need is you and your love and your support. That's
That's
it.
right. Well, I really hope you have enjoyed this episode of Bumpaholics. We gave you lots of information today. If you want some more information, not necessarily specifically on baby development, but especially on our organization and the ways we help and support the community, check out kcwomensministry.org. Thank you for joining us. We loved having you here. Bumpaholics is available on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts. So if you haven't already, send us a comment below. Let us know what you thought of the episode. Let us know what questions you have. And we'll make sure that we answer those questions in future episodes. If you like this episode, click the like button. Let us know that you like it. Subscribe to our channel so you can be notified anytime we have a new episode come out. And that is pretty much weekly, sometimes most of the time twice a weekly now. But we have a new episode come out for you every week. So I'm going to let you go for now, and we'll see you again soon.
This has been Bumpaholics, a KC Women's Ministry podcast. For more information, please visit kcwomensministry.org. Thank you for your continued support.